Welcome everyone to Radio Nuku'alofa 88.6 FM and also our Lali No Conversation. It's an honor to always be here talking to Lord Fakafanua, the Speaker of the House. Welcome, Lord Fakafanua.
Thank you for having me in your new studio.
What do you think of our new studio?
It's very dark.
It's dark.
And fancy.
What I heard from Josh and Nong, the dark brings out the two that's talking in the interview. We'll find out when we post it. Before we start our conversation, I would like to first start off with, can you just give us an update on Eliezer Katoa, just for the people listening right now?
Yeah. It's really unfortunate what happened to him. It was a freak accident, and I've been following very closely his progress, and I understand he should be discharged from the hospital soon, and we hope that he gets a full recovery. But the coach has been with him this whole week, and I missed out on the Josh Tatofi concert because I wanted to see how he was in hospital, and he's doing okay.
That's good news, especially for the fans and the family and everyone that's concerned about Eliezer Katoa. But the reason why I have you here today, Lord Fakafanua, is we're talking about many stuff and elections and parliament buildings. But I want to start it with it's coming to the end of the cycle of the parliament for the last 4 years. And what an eventful 4 years it has been, with two different governments, a physical altercation, many exciting debates. Please, can you describe the last 4 years in Parliament in one or two or maybe more sentence?
A lot happened in the last 4 years. This term has been marked by political instability. It started off with the election petitions, and we had a huge turnover in membership, and that sort of resulted in a bit of political maneuvering within the House, and eventually resulted with the former Prime Minister resigning and a new government coming in the last 9 months under Dr. Eke. And we saw that division include the nobles as well, which is something new. Usually they're the rock bed or the group that has some resemblance of stability in the House, but we saw that they were not immune to the political changes that were happening as well. Across the membership, we also experienced, there was the resolution to the judicial reviews, which Parliament won, but was very disruptive at the same time. And, that's something that we have to go through, since we're all experiencing a lot of this is for the first time. So to sum it up, I think this year was the year of unprecedented. It was an unprecedented year. We were making a lot of new precedents, and I think it's ultimately put us in a good position moving forward, because a lot of these issues we've now managed to flesh out. So hopefully we're not going to go back to that.
Yeah. If you notice on our jackets, we've got the Constitution 150 anniversary Tongan Constitution, and it was celebrated on the 4th of November.
Oh, I actually bought your pin, but you already have one.
I've got a pin, but
did you know that they're all individually numbered?
Yes, I got 153.
153.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you have. You probably have one. Well, maybe the king would have one.
I have some low numbers. Oh, this one's 670.
Yeah, so what does it mean when my number is a bit lower than your number?
It means I need to go change my pen.
But yeah, so on the 4th of November, we celebrated 150 years of our Constitution. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it is the oldest in the Pacific. Please speak on this and explain how important it was for His Majesty to break ground on our new Parliament building that's located in Talangaholo Royal Estate.
Yeah. I think the claim that we have the oldest constitution in the Pacific is one that we could qualify because Tonga has the oldest continuous constitution for a sovereign nation. And I think everyone knows that George I was inspired by Hawaii's constitution and also New South Wales constitution, which also celebrated their 200th this year alongside our 150th. But you know, they're both not sovereign countries.
Yes.
And
it's not continued.
And not continuous.
Yeah.
Like our constitution is pretty much the same constitution that George I gave us in 1875.
I mentioned His Majesty breaking ground for the new Parliament building in Talangaholo Royal Estate. Can you please provide more details on this new Parliament building, including the construction, when it begins, and estimated time frame of its completion?
So the construction's already begun, and the contractors are currently clearing the ground and laying the foundation. Interestingly, they've found some human remains.
Wow.
And now they're liaising closely with the Palace Office to recover some of those bones.
Yes.
And treat them with the respect that they do.
Yeah.
I think it has something to do with the, back when Tonga was still fighting.
Yeah. Because
that area
was the
where they buried like some of the warriors or victims of when Tonga was still spilling blood.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, I don't know whether it's exciting or because it should be like a solemn occasion.
Yeah.
But that's just testament to where we're building.
Yes.
It's really historical. It's under His Majesty's Royal Estate. And hopefully in maybe 3 years we'll be able to move in.
Location you're at now, the National Centre, it's been cassetted or to have that location, Nuku'alofa. Would they do the same thing with the new location?
Of course.
Yeah.
When we moved to where we are now, our temporary site, the Minister of Lands had to declare it as part of Nuku'alofa.
Yes.
Even though it's not.
Yes.
Now it's officially sort of like a satellite part of Nuku'alofa, and we would have to do the same thing to Talangaholo to comply with the Constitution, because it says that Whare Lea or Parliament needs to meet in Nuku'alofa, and we're only allowed to meet outside of Nuku'alofa in times of war. Yeah.
This question might have a little to do with what you just mentioned about the Constitution and how it says that the Parliament needs to be in Nuku'alofa and so forth. After the happy celebration, a few, and I mean a very few, are asking the question about whether our Constitution is outdated and needs to be updated. What are your thoughts on this, and is it possible to update our Tongan Constitution? Yeah,
it's possible, and we've been updating it throughout our 150 years of freedom under the current Constitution. It's been amended over 90 times, and the last major update was in 2010, where we had the major democratic reforms, and the updates and the tweaks to the Constitution didn't end in 2010. So there were recent amendments to the Electoral Act and the Constitution around how the nobles can be elected, and so the amendments can happen if Parliament and His Majesty assent to those laws.
The election will be held next week on the 20th of November for both the nobles and the people's representative. From what I understand, there is an earlier time for the nobles and lords to come in and cast their votes, and a later time for us, the people's representative. Our voting process is well known. We go into the voting booth, we cast our votes. Can you provide insight into how the voting process works for the nobles?
The amendments that I talked about before, it was really about aligning how the nobles vote to closer to how the people's representatives are voted. And what I know is that we have to qualify just like the people's reps and register. So when the people's reps were given by the election commission 2 days to register your nomination as a candidate, the nobles also had to do the same thing. And so that was one of the first changes that aligned us. And there's also the qualification.
Yes.
The people with court debt
Yeah.
were excluded from the nomination. We changed the law to align that with also the nobles. So now it doesn't matter if you're a nobles representative, a candidate, or a people's candidate. You can't register as a candidate if you have if you've been bankrupted or declared bankrupt. And the second criteria is if the court has appointed a what do you call it, receivership. And so if any of the nobles caught under those two criteria, then they'll become ineligible. So the days, like the 20th, day of the election, the nobles will meet or have from 10 a.m. to midday to 12. We have 2 hours to cast our ballot. And you understand that the nobles have to register under one of the districts.
Yeah.
So the nobles who registered in Tongatapu, they also vote for the noble in Ewa.
Okay.
So all the nobles in Tongatapu,
Yes.
they get to elect 3 representatives from Tongatapu and 1 representative from Ewa. And the nobles in Hapai get to elect 2. And from Vava'u, they get to elect 2. And in the Niwas, they get to elect 1. Even though there are only 2 nobles right now in the Niwas, they get 1 representative.
And those are the representatives that the rest of the nobles and the lords will go into to the voting booth and vote for.
So if you're a lord from Hapai,
Yes.
you can only elect the lords in Hapai.
Okay.
And you'll note that there are life peers
Yes.
that were appointed by the late king. And they get to vote, but they can't run as candidates. So there are lords in Privy Council that will get to vote in Tongatapu.
I have noticed that new young nobles have thrown their head into the ring this year to run and hopefully become nobles representative. You were very young when you ran for parliament and became the youngest, though I have heard that the record has been recently been surpassed. But for a while, you were the youngest Speaker of House. What advice would you give a young noble as they prepare to advocate for votes, and if they are lucky enough to be voted in, what advice would you give them?
If there's a first-time representative, not just a young representative, but if you get into Parliament for the first time, my advice would be to listen and also study the rules of procedure, the statutes, and do your homework. So make sure you read all the materials, get to understand the bills that are coming through, and and then eventually you'll start to get an understanding and a grasp of how things operate, because it's different when you're looking and it's different when you're actually practicing. So people see a different parliament from outside from when you experience it from inside.
And this is for both people and Nobles representative, this advice?
It's the same for any representative. Doesn't matter if you're People's representative or Nobles representative. You might have strong feelings about things, but it would help you to understand the broader picture and to see how the other side looks at your political view.
Back to the People's Representative election that's next week. One thing I have noticed that it's been quiet compared to previous election. I have asked members of the public, and their thoughts on this is the majority of the answer indicates that perhaps these candidates are concerned that they might be taken to court after the elections for various reasons. My question is, have you noticed the same thing, and do you share the public's thoughts on this?
So from my conversations with some of the members and candidates that are running, that is something that I've been hearing. Compared to 2021, it's not as aggressive. And I think because it's new, we'll just have to see what that means. But the optimist in me says that people have already made their mind up. And there's really nothing to argue about. So whether that's a good or a bad thing, I think we'll be able to tell on the 20th.
In his previous address to the nation, His Majesty has urged the public to vote wisely. At this time, I would like to give you the opportunity to provide advice to the people as they head towards the election on the 20th of November.
It's easy for us in Tonga to be tribalistic, and because there's so many tribes that we belong to. There's the strong collegial unity of coming from one particular school, whether it's Atele or Leahona or Tonga High,
or Afo'o,
whatever school you went to. But there's always that tribalism that exists, and that's evident with the kids who even fight and put their bodies on the line for the honor of their school. Even though we don't condone violence, but that's sort of rooted in that culture. Unfortunately, it's something we want to undo. But that tends to gravitate towards politics as well. There's the whole churches thing. People vote in church blocks. And then there's the proud affinity to your village. And then within the village, people tend to gravitate into their family groups. So there's a lot of tribalism happening. And it makes sense because you group yourselves into people who are like-minded. You have similar socio-economic backgrounds. You have similar views on how things should happen. So it makes sense that you gravitate to that. But I think in order for our democracy to really work, we have to really gravitate towards the individual. You're each your own sovereign person. You can make up your own mind, and you should really determine who you vote on by who aligns with your personal belief. So whoever aligns closest to your personal belief should be who you vote for, not based on their color, race, or church, or village, or education.
Thank you very much for always saying yes to my many, many requests and coming in and having a conversation without knowing any other questions. And I've always enjoyed that about you, and I've always enjoyed your answers as well. Malo pito, Lord Fakafanua.
Thank you, Lara.